Do I need to say the first line again, or are we okay? Okay. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would we please have the roll call?
Yes. Alternate Wall. Alternate Wu. Trustee Chin. Here. Trustee Derry. Trustee Osagieta. Here. Vice Chair Sadoun. Chair Domeyer.
Here. Thank you. The city welcomes public input. At this time, the public may address the Library Board of Trustees on items that are not on the agenda. Pursuant to state law, the Library Board of Trustees may not discuss or take action on issues not on the meeting agenda. To ensure that everyone, including those joining remotely, are able to hear all speakers clearly, please speak directly into a microphone. I would now like to ask Nicole. I don't know what your title is, Nicole. Community Engagement Manager. Okay, I probably knew that at one point. To explain how public comment will work.
For each item on the agenda, there will be time for public comment. We will accept comments in 3 ways. We will take in-person comments for each item. Please fill out a speaker card and turn it in to me if you wish to speak on an item. We will then ask for comments from our Zoom participants. When we ask for public comments via Zoom, there are 2 ways you can let us know you would like to speak. First, you can use the raised hand feature, which is a button that's found by clicking on the raised hand at the bottom right side of the screen. Please do not use this feature until we have asked for public comment, or else we may not see it or know which item you are asking to speak on. As a second option, you can send a message using the chat box saying you would like to speak on a particular agenda item. Comments will be accepted only until the end of the public comment period for that item. Please keep in mind that if there are technical difficulties with Zoom, the meeting will proceed as normal. The city will do its best to resolve any technical issues as quickly as possible. I will then read into the record any public comments received by email for that particular item. Due to technical limitations associated with the gathering, printing, and sorting of emailed public comment, the city has instituted a 7 a.m. cutoff the day of the Library Board of the Trustees meeting for emailed public comments. This is to ensure that there is sufficient time to gather and present the emailed comments at that meeting. Any comments received after 7 a.m. the day of the meeting will be included in the public comment record, but will not be read into the meeting. I will add a caveat that any comments emailed as of this morning to Kristen Shiganaga have not been received by me, so I will not be able to read those into the record.
Understood. Does anyone here wish to speak at this time? If so, please state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one here, do we have any public comment requests submitted electronically?
No requests submitted electronically.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is my chairperson's report. Now that LMU's semester has ended, the school year has finished, I was fortunate enough to get all my grades in and do some traveling. So that was really rewarding. My travel recently reminded me of the importance of libraries. I was fortunate enough to travel to Ireland and Dublin and visit Trinity College and the magnificent library there, the old library there, which houses the Book of Kells. I'm sure some of us in attendance have been there and seen that, or at least are aware of it. If you've read Thomas Cahill's book, How the Irish Saved Civilization, you realize the importance of what these Irish monks did as to save Western civilization as the hordes were coming through and destroying libraries and books and learning. These were the people that saved it. And it reminded me of the importance of libraries to preserving and advancing culture. So the work that we do in supporting this library, I think, is crucial. Later on in today's meeting, we're going to get a report from Library Manager Vera on all the numerous programs and activities that the library is currently providing. And I think that serves as a reminder of the incredible value that this institution provides to our community. As I mentioned last month in our last meeting, there have been news reports of various libraries coming under fire throughout the country and librarians having to defend work and free speech and all that. And I just wanted to reiterate once again how proud I am to live in a place that realizes the importance of libraries and eagerly supports them. And that's my chairperson's report. The second item on the agenda are trustee reports. Let's go through and see what trustees or alternates have anything to report. Trustee Chen, do you have anything separate from your other thing to report? Any? Nope.
No.
Okay, great. Trustee Asagueda?
I know it's coming up on the meeting later, but just to thank Tara Torres and Jackie, they went to Carver. They did the same presentation 4 times for a total of 654 kids. And I know they did the same the next day at Valentine. They were real troopers and the kids are really, really excited.
Thank you. Vice Chair Sadoun, anything to report?
Well, I would like to perhaps piggyback or echo on Steve's comments, how proud I am to live. I've been in San Marino for 40 years. And always been thrilled that the exchange of ideas is very free. And, I go back to our founding fathers, the First Amendment, freedom of speech. What could be more? They valued that more than 200 years ago, and I'm so glad that we continue. But it is kind of frightening. Less than a week ago, the front page was very much focused on banning books. Today, I wasn't going to, I truthfully, because Steve's comments last month were so eloquent, so focused, and I tend to just go on and on. But today, when you go home, large swaths of books banned. And I think we all value for our children and our children's children, the idea that they can be critical thinkers, that they can be readers of things that they may agree with, they may not, but then they take those and they become informed and can properly make their own decisions for life. And if we ban books, we're going down a very dark road. If you go into past the Berlin gates, you see the most moving monument, which is books that were somehow smuggled and dragged out when they were burning synagogues to the ground and ripping out books of religion of Jewish people. And we all know that when you start suppressing ideas, as the plaque said, you burn books, you burn people next. It's dramatic, but I think it's worth bringing up, especially when we're in the library mode. And I'm hopeful that we continue as we have at the Kroll Public Library of keeping that away. We're not in that situation, and I'm proud of that. So that's what I had to add.
Thank you very much. The third item on the agenda is the Crane Art Gallery Liaison Report. May we please have a report from Vice Chairperson Sadoun?
Absolutely. Well, the travel poster exhibit just came down, and tomorrow Fuzhong Gans will be installing I'm reading the notes from Linda, our patron saint, as I've always said. She's phenomenal. But Linda told me that tomorrow his exhibit will go on display, and it will run from May 27th to July 7th. And there's a reception on June 3rd from 2 to 4 p.m. All are invited, of course. As I mentioned last month, for the first time after 12 years of the gallery being open, there was a definite dip in people sending in proposals, people inquiring whether there was a place for their art. And so Linda and I had a few exchanges, and we talked about social media opportunities to get the word out and to a wide audience and quickly. And she's on it. But in the meantime, we still had some spots to fill sooner. So she's a magician. She pulled out of her hat. She's very much connected to the art world, and she sent out to 3 different artists, local artists, and 2 of them came back and said they'd be delighted to have an exhibit at the Kroll Public Library. So Pete Morris from July 15th to August 25th hasn't decided yet on his a reception date, but I mean, we pulled together via the Google. We Googled each artist and then we reported back. We loved his art and we hope the community will as well. Beautiful sketches, how he takes this very simple situation like riding on a bus and brings it to life. And then Emily Sunez will be exhibiting from November to December. And she has very bright, abstract acrylic desert scenes. And then she also has extended her work with a healing journal, because she found the desert and what she painted there very healing. And we might have her we might discuss whether she could come in and speak on that subject. So that's very exciting. And there are a few other things in the works, and we've received since then, since she wrote this up, another proposal. So I think we're back on track. Our gallery is going to be bright with new exhibits in the foreseeable future. So that's
Thank
my
you.
report.
And I must say, I certainly enjoyed the travel posters. That was a fun thing to see that was put up in the meantime. The fourth item on the agenda would have been the Friends of the Crowell Public Library Liaison Report, but Trustee Derry is not here today, so we'll skip that and move on to agenda item number 5. The fifth agenda item is the San Marino Public Library Foundation Liaison Report. May we please have a report from Trustee Chen?
Well, the foundation has been working so hard. Again, it feels like they.
You're not. There you go.
They've been working so hard. It feels like it was not that long ago that they were preparing a party, a fundraising really. Now they are doing another event that's smaller scale, but I think it's going to be great that they are trying to.
Genevieve, I know we can hear you.
Oh,
Is that all the way in?
Oh.
There you go.
The donor appreciation lunch, and they are gonna have a guest speaker who's gonna, I think she's a New York Times best author.
She's an Edgar mystery writer. She's a mystery writer.
Mystery, yeah. And I think it's probably, okay, I'm gonna make it brief. And then they're preparing for that lunch in, let's see, tentatively August 11th, Friday. And Cindy is preparing for a guest list. And the threshold is people who has been given $1,000 or more from November 2019 till now, something like that, around there. So that's who's going to make on the guest list. And they have voted new officers and voted for new members. And they also did something wonderful for our neighbors. South Pass Library has been reaching out to their foundation, trying to reach out to San Marino, and they wanted to see what we could help them on building something similar for their city. So I think it's wonderful that we have very good relationship with our neighboring cities. And that concludes my report.
Great. Thank you very much. The sixth item on the agenda is the San Marino Public Library Foundation updates. May we please have a presentation from Executive Director Cindy Chan.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. I'm going to elaborate a little bit off of what Genevieve had just shared. So the foundation board, we met in May, and we actually voted in 2 new board members. One is Marissa Kelly and the other one is Annie Tang. So we're actually expanding our board by one member because we do have one member who is going to retire after being with us since 1995. Chris Doutweiler, who had been our treasurer since I think day one when he started on the foundation, actually is retiring from our board. So we hate to see him go. We have two people replacing him actually at the moment. But we do have these two new members joining us, and they'll be joining us in July that'll be their first time to meet with us. So we're very excited by that. And so one of the things that Genevieve brought up was we are planning a donor appreciation event in the month of August. We do have a guest author, Naomi Hirahara. I don't know if anyone's familiar with her. She lives locally, actually. It said something to our board because on the cart, I took all the books that we have of Naomi's and I had them on a cart. And then she's not only is she a fiction writer, she's a mystery writer, but she's also a nonfiction writer as well. And so we have literally a collection that's 10, 12 books, and they are well read as well, which is also nice. They're well read. But it happens to coincide with the fact that she has a new release coming out in August. So we're very excited by that. We haven't done a donor appreciation like this in many, many, many years. And we felt for all the support that we were given throughout the pandemic and everything, this is definitely something that we needed to do. And we're looking at August 11th. What we have found though is that our guest list may be much larger than we had anticipated. So we're looking at some options, and so I'm working with the city to see what some other options are we have. We do want to plan it for that day. Initially, we wanted to do it kind of like end of summer, maybe before school starts, but turns out school's starting 2 days prior. So, but we thought it would be nice to have at the library, and so we're now kind of shifting from maybe summer luncheon to a light summer dinner and inside the library with some air conditioning. But really also show off the inside of the library too. I think that's one of the things that we're really looking at. We're also going to be returning this fall with our bookmark contest. So we're excited by that. This year we actually had a new sponsor join us, Mathnasium, but we also had the lovely Chain Group also continue to support us. So, and then we also are planning our next delicious destinations. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. So we decided to move from the fall to the spring. We realized in the fall there was a lot of activities going on, parent parties that had shifted to the fall. So we're now looking at March of 2024. And so that's when our next delicious destinations. We also decided to go back to the name of delicious destinations, really working off the branding that we've done in the community. As when we did literary libations last fall, people kept calling it delicious destinations. So we're excited about doing that. We've actually already decided on our 2 destinations. Okay, we're starting early. So I'm going to share them publicly now, which is South Korea and Portugal. One, just the excitement. Korean food seems to be incredibly popular. Korean entertainment seems really popular. So we thought we could have just really a great time, really, transforming the library to exhibit that. One of our board members is going to Korea this summer for a week or two. So I told her, you have to be like taking pictures. You've got to like give us insight. So, and I know Portugal has also been a great destination for people, a great travel destination over these last couple of years. So we thought that would be really great. And just the juxtaposition of the foods also we thought would be great. So we're doing that. And then another thing that we're working on with the new community center coming on board, our board is also looking at creating a new event. We wanted to bring in a speaker event. I did a lot of research with different library foundations. A lot of them do speaker series. I'm looking at trying to bring in more known speakers into our community because we're going to have this great new larger space in order to accommodate that type of audience. And also, bring in the audience that's beyond San Marino that would like to see these speakers. Kind of thinking because I can't make it that big, but think the Distinguished Speaker Series. So we want to start to create that type of programming to bring into the city. Okay. And then finally, we also are going to plan something probably early fall, late summer. What we want to do is we want to bring back the idea of bringing representatives from all the library groups together to talk about, what's coming up in the next quarter, 6 months, but how we can really help each other, support whatever event is going on, initiative, project, however we can kind of chime in and do that. This last April, the Friends did their 65th event. And so I reached out and tried to help them, and I realized how we could help them and then how they would also want to help us. And there was a lot more conversation that went on I just offered them just a few things I could do for them. And I think that that's something that we just need to generate more of, just to really collaborate more as a group. We're not a big town, but we're reaching out all to the same people. So I think that's one cohesive message, is a better message to the community. Okay, so that is essentially what the foundation is up to. So we're keeping ourselves busy, and we're excited. And as I said, there's not a year that goes by where we don't seem to plan something, and we love food. So that's a motivation right there. So anyways, thank you very much for having me this morning.
Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate it. Some exciting stuff coming up. The seventh item on our agenda is the approval of minutes. Are there any questions from the board regarding the minutes? I'd like to open up the item for public comments. Does anyone here wish to speak at this time? If so, please state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, do we have any public comment requests submitted electronically?
There are no participants on.
Okay. At this time, I'll bring that back to the board for discussion. Any comments or questions from the board regarding our minutes? Alternates? No, nothing at all. Okay. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to, I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting on February 27th, 2023, as well as the minutes of the special meeting on April 17th, 2023.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kathy. Roll call, please.
Yes, since you are missing a member, I will alternate between your alternates for
Ah.
voting for the rest of the meeting.
Alternate. I like it.
Alternate Wall. Trustee Chin,
Yes.
Trustee Osagieta,
Yes.
Vice Chair Sadoun, Chair Domeyer.
Yes. Approved. Thank you. All right. The eighth item on the agenda is the Director and Library Manager report. Can we please have a presentation from Community Services Director Johnson and Library Manager Vera?
You. Good morning, Chairman Domeyer. Thank you for that introduction, and good morning to the trustees as well as the alternates. And thank you for accommodating our location change. Glad everybody could make it. As Steve stated, we will be reviewing the manager report. Director and manager report begins on page 12 of your packet. Some personnel updates. We are extremely pleased to share that we've been busy interviewing and hiring. The youth services area will be making 3 part-time offers to library assistants and 1 part-time librarian. So that's very exciting. We also have plans to finish up recruitment or I should say begin recruitment of the bilingual library assistant that we told you about last week, who will be doing the cataloging for us. So we're going to be kicking off that recruitment. If you know of anybody who may be interested, please let them know to watch out for that posting. And then this month, we have also welcomed several folks to our adult services team. As you can see, Hannah Dahl has joined us as a part-time library assistant. And this month and last, Librarian Plumley also onboarded 5 clerks, new faces, at the circulation desk. So when you see them, if they look new, please greet them to our team. I know we've all been busy doing the same. Then again, on page 13, moving on, our budget update. As you know, the Community Services Department budget as a whole was presented to City Council, and we are pleased to report that you passed unanimously with a 5-0 vote of support. The complete department budget, which includes the library division operating budget, can be found on the website if you'd like to go back as a reference. There might have been some minor changes since the last time we reported to the Board of Trustees, but nothing significant. And then we want to remind you that the final adoption of the city's full operating budget, which the department and the division's budget includes, will take place Wednesday, June 14th at 6 p.m. The next item I'd like to share or comment on has to do with your first attachment, which was in your packet. As you know, we report quarterly on the operating financials for the division. And it includes not only the operating budget, but as well as the donations fund. So hopefully you've had an opportunity to look at Q3. There is, no earth-shattering concerns or anything that, isn't tracking nicely with the forecasted budget projections for the year. As you can see within the middle of the spreadsheet, there's the yellow column, which is your year-end totals. And then to the right, it's your variance column based on percentage of used budget, as well as variance in dollars. So revenue, because at Q3, we've elapsed approximately 75% of our operating budget, and we're currently residing around 71%. So, tracking nicely. A lot of times, these variances could be a posting issue with some things as they run the financials, and but we have no concerns as it relates to being able to meet that revenue target by the end of June. And then we have our expenses in the middle to the last part of that first page. Again, we're tracking under our projected expenses, which is wonderful. I will move on to page 2 or the backside, but I'll take a pause here, ask if there's any questions from the board.
Can I don't have a question. I just have a comment.
Or any way we
Having
can.
served on this board for a while, I appreciate the fact that it takes a lot less time for us to look at this stuff and understand it because of the hard work that you guys put into cleaning this up and making it easier and having the comments column in there. So a lot of the questions we would ordinarily have and a lot of the work that the board would do in the past, and Vice Chair Sadoun can back me up on this, we don't have to do now because it's so clearly laid out. So thank you for all the hard work you put into making the document more readable and understandable and digestible, because it saved us a lot of work.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I've worked really hard to try to massage this and really filter up what is really important to the board. And Kristen's been a wonderful collaborator. And so, really a lot of credit also goes to Kristen, who's not here. So thank you for that very much.
Anyone else have any questions?
Sure.
Okay, and then back onto the second page is our donations fund. Same format, same as Chairman Domeyer mentioned, we did work to provide any comments to variances or insights as to kind of why, certain accounts or line items, are at where they are, or unique adjustments. So we've got in the upper portion our revenue, then we have our expense, and then the bottom part of this report includes just a different snapshot, revenues and expenses by area. So are there any questions, comments, needs for clarification?
curiosity about the wish list donation. The amount is there, but it didn't really say anything in the comments to where it was, what was purchased or where it's-
That's on. okay.
I'm on the top of page 18. Or we,
Which line number?
yes, in the green portion at the top,
Mhm.
line item 2.
Two, wish list donations.
It's, yeah, middle of the page, line 11. Is that correct?
No, she's looking at number 2,
Oh, number
Line
2 on the
number two.
revenues,
wish list donations.
which is a revenue, that whole green upper portion is a revenue. So do you want to go
You
ahead?
know, did it go towards something in particular?
Well,
It's just from my years of being on the foundation, the wish list was a very hot topic. And so I see, oh, $2,000 was donated to the wish list. I was just curious.
That
as
was
to
the
what-
budget. So
That
it's,
was the budget.
if you look
not
at the third
donation.
column over,
Okay.
it says budget. So we
Okay.
budgeted based on historic practice.
Okay.
Okay. And then that is because we don't have a crystal ball and we can't, really forecast if someone's going to come forward with those types of donations. And because we did lose some institutional knowledge as to maybe where those might have come from. But I know we have had some conversation around possibly eliminating that because it's a projection and then we don't know if we're going to get it.
Right.
So we'd
right.
rather, have it be
Totally surprised.
maybe an unforeseen gift versus budget and then not hit that.
I don't know why you can't predict people.
I know we can work miracles with a spreadsheet, but so is that helpful?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions related to the third quarter financial report? Okay, moving on to the middle of the page. We wanted to, page 13, we did want to make the trustees aware that there's a volunteer opportunity for you coming up. It's the Summer Reading Club kickoff event. And I had asked Linda and her team to submit this to you because we always look for opportunities for you to get involved. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Linda. She can speak a little better as it relates to maybe roles and responsibilities for the program itself.
Well, I feel like it's all kind of captured there. Your meeters and greeters handing out schedules and maps of the day's events. Just being there, being our library ambassadors, as you always are when you're out in the community, and letting people see your smiling faces and contributing to making this, a warm, welcoming community environment.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and any questions, shoot them to Linda. We're happy to have you.
Sounds like just a small of expenditure, but I can say from other at the library experiences and other organizations I belong to, when we get feedback about events, when always right at the top is, oh, I was so warmly greeted when I arrived, and they were there to answer my questions or at least point me to someone who could if they were unable. So it sounds small, but it's very helpful, and I'm so glad you included it. I'm going to be out of town that day, and I was miserable when I saw that. And big question: could I change my travel dates? But no, I can't.
Don't do that. We'll be there.
Okay, well, thank you for the consideration. The next area, the next brief here is just a reminder on the in-person meeting attendance. And again, if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to City Clerk Baker or Kristen if you have any questions. And then lastly, for me, on this page anyway, pleased to report that the study rooms in the Lifelong Learning Center have been updated it's been opened, and the policy and procedure for using the lifelong learning area has been updated thanks to Linda and her team. They fine-tuned that. High demand areas, you can see 86 sessions have been booked in the 3 rooms since we reopened. In how many weeks?
Sorry, I apologize. I interrupted you, and I shouldn't have. But after if Linda could give us a sentence or two of the ways the rules have changed. Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Linda.
We made it a little easier is the bottom line. The study rooms, you used to be able to book them for 1 hour increments, which feels insufficient for most people's uses. So we increased that to 2 hours, which has greatly reduced some of the back and forth monitoring staff. The feedback that I got was that they were spending a lot of time running back and forth, managing those spaces. We also said that if no one is requesting the room, you can stay in there until it is needed. So 2 hours is the minimum amount of time that you're allotted, and it's first come, first serve. So you have to be standing in front of us requesting the room to get the room, and that is nice, levels the playing field a little bit.
Another reminder, final reminder, that and I won't mention it again, but we are so pleased that the San Marino Center has been renamed to the Community Center. And Cindy, thank you for letting that naturally roll off of your tongue when you reference the building, because we all, struggle with referencing the new building as the community center and the function with which it will play within our community. But very exciting, and the signage has been ordered and it's official. So, and then the next section here is related to the construction project updates. As you know, you can find those online if you're curious about the details of what's going on behind the green fence and what's going on in the building and what's all that really exciting new brickwork and big iron T-bars, and, so you can actually drill down in a couple, 2 or 3 clicks on the city's website and see some wonderful pictures that have been taken, captured by probably city staff, Nicole, our construction manager, Griffith Structures. And we put that out there so the community can follow along and really help, generate that excitement that we are certainly experiencing. I would like to thank Nicole, she's here, but also let you guys know that the project website webpage is currently being overhauled. So from a publicly facing standpoint, it will really bring up to date, the status of the project, moving from a construction phase coming to the completion of the project here in the next few weeks, or end of June, July-ish. And then we will be, it's coming to fruition. And we all know how fast time flies. So before we know it, we're going to be celebrating a ribbon cutting and a dedication of that new building. But in the meantime, it's going to be a very exciting summer because, like I stated, we're going to move from construction to a soft kind of opening, if you will. We will be moving our recreation division once all of the FF&E and the owner purchased items get installed. It's like a new house. You get the new keys, okay, but it's not really ready to have your open house yet. So we'll be doing that in June and July. And then pleased to report that we are planning some sneak preview tours for advisory body groups. And so this group, along with our foundation, will be invited to see some sneak preview before the grand opening and ribbon cutting. Okay, so keep an eye out for that invite. Based on facility readiness and fingers crossed, we're hopefully looking at end of August. That's the target, but please know that it could be beginning of September, how construction works and those kinds of things. And then my final comment related to the project is kind of a new kind of a owner purchased item that will be part of the FF&E budget for this capital project. It's a very large capital project. And it has to do with the continuity, visual continuity, and complementing the actual merging of the two buildings with all of the new layout and design and construction. So the original scope of the project did not include exterior lighting for those two open patio spaces. Chairman Domeyer is aware, but there are two, much like the Kroll's patio. Okay, we have two open patios that face the library east wall, right, where the two buildings will merge, and there will be really beautiful, breezeway and walkway between the two buildings. And on either side, there will be two open patios. So we are going to be getting some quotes to actually add some lighting to both of those. And then we're also going to consider the scope of work for that lighting to include patio lighting for the Kroll Library patio. So then all three spaces will be equally illuminated in the evening, with the same similar type of, tension wire and hanging, outdoor lighting. So I'm very excited about that. And fingers crossed, we'll be able to get that purchase pushed through prior to the opening, but if not, it will be forthcoming. So, and that finishes the actual director librarian report. I'm going to defer to Manager Vera. Do you have anything else to add before we go into the upcoming events and operational? Anything else up here?
No, I think that covered it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I have a
So
quick question. The bathroom is being updated or upgraded for the sound system. When is it going to be completed?
that's a great question. That's why we're here this morning. There's always, we hope and pray that we hit, estimated timelines that vendors give us. But unfortunately, the completion of the work did not happen Friday. There was some type of delay. That is why we are here. So we had to quickly make a change based on contractor ran into some hiccups. So hopefully within a day or two.
I think there's some kind of planned event tonight, right?
Yep. And we're yep. Thank you. Yeah.
Additional
Yep.
pressure for
Just
you.
another little
Yeah.
stressor this morning as we walked into the room and we're like, oh no.
Oh.
So yes, we will be informing everyone. Yeah.
Is
we
it
will.
canceled?
We don't know yet. Yeah. So because our workday started at 7 and we had to move our event over here, we were made aware this morning as well, or late Friday. So we will be sure to communicate out to everyone the status of that event. It will not cancel. We will find a space for it. Okay, so please sit tight and let us problem solve as soon as we leave this meeting. we will be going over there and sorting that out.
I was just thinking, wow, they're going to be all done.
Nope, we're on it. Yeah, we are on it. But, and then we're down a man, Kristen is not here with us. So we're just scrambling a little bit, but we will get to the bottom of that and get that sorted and get a good game plan, hopefully by, 11 o'clock at the latest. And we will let everybody know, via social media and hopefully e-blast what the status is. We have a couple of things that are scheduled for that room today.
Tonight, right?
Yep.
I think you were going to, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the Historical Society has a speaker this evening, so it will not be canceled and it will just be a location change. So, yep. Okay. Yep. So anyway, moving on, upcoming events, I did want to let you know that we, city is hosting the Memorial Day service on Monday at Lacey Park. That is a very, proud event that the city hosts. It's a somber yet, a wonderful way to honor our veterans and our active duty. If you have an opportunity, if you've never been, we encourage attendance. It is truly a beautiful space within Lacey Park. And then we have a really beautiful program always planned. There's a lot of collaborators there. So just a reminder of that. And then, as you're aware, the summer reading club, as well as summer camps on the recreation side are all beginning. So our big summer programming, you'll hear a little bit more about that from Linda, but our summer programming and camps begin on the 30th. And then the rest of the calendar is there. And then that leads to our operational staff briefings that begin on page 15. And we're also attachment 3. And we can keep moving, or if you have any specific questions about the
Got
operational
stuff I
brief.
have to say.
Oh, oh.
Are you trying to move on to the next agenda?
No,
Okay.
well, no, speaking of the operational staff briefings, which was an attachment, do we have any questions or comments or need for Linda to kind of review that with you? All good? Okay, then that concludes our director and manager's report.
Thank you. And of course, we've already determined there are no other questions from the board. I'd like to open up the item for public comments. Anyone here wish to speak at this time? If so, please state your name and address for the record. No one's here. Okay. Do we have any public comment requests submitted electronically?
No participants on
Thank
Zoom.
you. At this time, I'll bring back the item to the board for discussion. Do any other comments or questions from the board regarding the report we were just given? No. All right, great. Let's move on to the 9th item on our agenda. We don't need to accept the report, do we?
No, it's a receive and
Yeah, okay,
file.
good. The 9th item on the agenda is the preview of the Summer Reading Club. Can we have a presentation, please, from Library Manager Vera?
Right, thank you.
And we have a PowerPoint. Let's just wait and give them a chance to pull it up.
AIDS.
Yeah, and it's
Excellent.
all summer programming, not just summer reading, I don't think, but okay.
So Summer Reading Club, as you may or may not know, libraries have been doing this for I think about 1 billion years. Libraries have always sort of capitalized on this free time that kids have during the summer. Here this year, we have really taken a look at what our community goals are. You can see them outlined behind you. We started a shift last year where instead of reading in discrete units of pages, or some libraries have done it by time, we really wanted the focus to be on developing reading as a habit rather than, reading for these things that you can sort of zoom through and be done and get your prize and be like, okay, cool, sweet. So now the reading log is daily, and yeah, so that's that. Previous summer reading clubs were a little bit more complicated because each age group, adults, teens, and children, had their own format. But that doesn't necessarily lend itself to the idea of reading as a habit. It also makes it harder for multi-generational households to work towards the same goal, right? So if you have baby and child and parents and they read together every day, everybody gets to log that. So it streamlines the system for participants and, for library staff as well. And of course, we are really working on getting people back into the library. I know, many of us sort of really gleefully ripped off our masks and we're running around out there on the streets. But it takes time for people to get back into the habits that they had before. So last year we had 294 kids participate in Summer Reading Club. We're of course hoping to grow that. In 2019, just for some perspective, there were 804 kids. So even though we had people coming back, we're still needing to pull people in. I should go boop. Okay, so the program structure, it's going to run from May 30th to July 9th. Again, stretching it out, logging daily reading. Mark Twain said, a person who won't read has no advantage over one who can't read, which I love. So we're working on that. There are some incentives that sort of serve as markers of time that people have completed. Week 1, week 2, it really is, there's raffle prizes and stuff for the kids, and beads. I mean, I suppose if you're an adult and you want a reading bead, knock yourself out, but there is stuff there for you. And yeah, we just want to make sure that people develop consistent reading habits. Oh, the other thing I should mention, we're going old school. The log is paper. So we're moving back towards this, rather than if you participated in the past or have kids who did Bean Stack. The tactile experience of it, I see in families that it's more rewarding for them. So we are moving to that. Okay, so the kickoff, it's going to be a scaled down version of the open house. Part of that is due to the onboarding of staff. So we don't have the capacity right now to do a larger event, but it's going to be from 12 to 3. And the reason why libraries do programs in the summer is that it ensures that libraries remain relevant to the things that people are interested in doing, right? It doesn't matter if you have all these books and all this information. If you're not doing anything to pull them in, nobody cares. So we really want to make sure that everybody comes in and that there's something for everybody. And the events are, or the crafts and the programs are very flexible. There's a little bit of something for everybody. And I did want to point out that a new thing that we are doing is that the activities that are going to be done, they were suggested by all staff. So this includes library clerks. And the idea is that if we can pull everybody into the library into providing this service in this different way, that they'll be more engaged and provide better service to you, as well as it gives us an opportunity to give them some professional development, right? And sort of help, it's a nice little feedback cycle. Okay, so you can see here some of the events that we have planned, including some performers like the juggler, David Cousin, he's like been on the circuit forever, because he's very good. The Music Center's Melody of China. And the reason that we hire these performers, we pull people in from the outside, is because they specialize in a certain kind of entertainment, right? They're usually culturally relevant, they're engaging and they're entertaining, and they bring in new faces into the library, as I was saying earlier, to make that connection and to draw in community members who may not be going there for some of the resources that you have, like it pulls them in. So then you can introduce them to what is there. Of course, we're continuing on with Storytime in the summer, which enforces pre-literacy skills, serves as a model for parents looking for ways to engage with young children through books, and provides opportunities for parents and children to socialize. For anyone who's stayed home with a very, very tiny person, it can be sort of isolating. So it's nice to have this thing where people can get together and chat with other parents. So yeah. Oh, and then I should mention, I'm so excited. I get to participate in the after hours Nerf login. I got to brush up on my Nerf skills. But this is another one of those targeted programs that tells tweens who are in this sort of like, they're like giant children and not exactly, that we're a space for them and that we see them and we recognize that they have unique needs. So we pull them in.
Well, you have to explain what the after hours Nerf lock-in is.
Okay, well, they're going to come into the library. We're going to have for ages 8 to 12, and we're going to have Nerf equipment and supplies. So it'll be like tag in the library with Nerf equipment.
Laser tag without lasers.
Laser tag without the lasers. Yeah. And I hear that there is there's a Nerf bow and arrow that I'm being lent. I am so excited.
A side of Linda you didn't know.
I have terrible aim, but I'm super excited. Nobody gets hurt. That's right. It's Nerf. But yeah, and then also I know I skipped it there, but we also have the Feed the Bees, indoor drive-in movies. These are just some of the things that are being staff led, and those smaller group sizes allow library staff to really connect with the community and form relationships in those smaller environments. Okay, so tag, they voted. I wasn't there. I know it was a majority. I can say unanimously, I suppose. I'm sure they all raised their hands to continue with their meetings throughout the summer, which is great. They're also going to be putting on their first collaborative programs. So the tag kids are going to be available to provide tech support to anyone who has a device and doesn't know what to do with it. My daughter does this with me all the time. She's very annoyed at my lack of understanding. But I'm more excited to be able to offer something that's cross-generational. And they're very excited, of course, to be able to share what they know with us. So that's going to be great.
Can you explain the acronym TAG?
Teen Advisory Group. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. And I didn't take a picture because we were so busy running around the room. Thornton, when they were doing their SRC meeting last week, was just bursting at the seams. So many happy faces. It's really cool to see this group blossom and flourish. So it's up to about oh gosh, I want to say it's about 50.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they're really taking the bull by the horns and running with it. So it's been really great. But yeah, so they're going to be doing some programs as well. There's some teen specific programs. Some of them are really simple things like board games, but it's nice to have some screen-free entertainment time. And they're going to be doing some DIY ice cream type stuff. So just, those simple things that make memories. So we're excited to offer those. During the summer, the adult programs, we're going to continue our partnership programs. And then we're going to have a macrame. One of our librarians has been very busy knotting string and stuff and learning. So that's going to be great. People really enjoy hands-on, slow it down experiences. So we're happy to be able to offer that. The walking book club, I'm so excited about. Kudos to Janelle for coming up with this for Librarian Van Hook. Just if you're reading something, meet in Lacey Park and take a few laps in the morning while it's still cool and chat about your book. That's it. Very, very low barrier to entrance. Just hang out with your neighbors and talk about a good book. And then, we're bringing in some other hands-on activities as well, such as a jewelry program. So that's it. As always, all of our information is available online and in the community services guide. So please, check it out, sign up for things. If you have any questions, let me know.
Any questions from the board on this presentation? Everything sounds very exciting. I'll open up the item for public comments. Does anyone here wish to speak at this time? If so, please state your name and address for the record. No one's going to do that. Do we have any public comment requests submitted electronically?
No participants on Zoom.
What a shock. At this time, I'd like to bring the item back to the board for discussion. Any comments or questions from the board?
I just want to say, I think this is phenomenal. I think the summer kickoff has had new, fresh eyes, and it's been examined. We've done, the library's done many things right in previous years, but that doesn't mean obviously you're not resting on your laurels and you want to incorporate. And I love the engagement idea of the staff, the ownership of it, and that you examine it through what the real goals are, making the love of books a lifelong learning action by every facet, from babies and toddlers to the middle school age children, getting them involved in TAG so successfully, and then adulthood. This and it's not about. And I noticed your rewards again brought it back to the idea of an enjoyment of books and learning experiences. It wasn't, a yo-yo, whatever. So I just hats off. I tip my hat to well done.
Excellent. Very exciting. Very exciting. Anything else?
I want to be a kid again.
I'm actually looking forward to the TAG group being the pool we're going to be pulling new board members from. So
yes, absolutely.
Very excited about that. Do we have any written communication or public writings for distribution? I guess that would be you. No. Okay. Before we adjourn the meeting, I just wanted to express my thanks to Nicole and Jen and everyone for jumping in to help us out this morning with the change of venue, and wish to return to good health for both management analysts Shiganaga and trustee Derry, who could not be with us today. This meeting is adjourned at 8:59, no, 9 o'clock exactly, until the next meeting on June 26th at 8 a.m. in probably the bathroom with the new audio equipment. Thank you, everyone.